Matt, you take a look at the high street and how business activity is tracking, and as these restrictions are rolled back today, it suggests people are going to get out and about, enjoy more of their freedoms and potentially spend more across the economy. But that said, we've seen today people choosing to wear masks. They are taking their own personal decision, despite not having to wear one anymore, to wear a mask, showing how cautious people still remain at this stage or conscious of the risk of the virus. So what sort of uptick can we practically expect today on the high street?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely spot on, Karen. The consumer segmentation across the UK has completely changed as a result of the pandemic. So, as you say, there are a tranche of consumers who are chomping at the bit to get back out there and basically resume behaviour that was pre-pandemic. And many have been saving enormous amounts of money during the pandemic, and there's a pent-up demand and they want to get out there and spend it. But on the other hand, you have those that are far more concerned about continuing risks, so the vulnerable, the health conscious, etc. And the surging cases in the UK will only make that segment even more nervous. So it's really hard to tell what you would expect to see. On the face of it, I think the first group that I referred to will win the day, and you will see an uptick, maybe 15-20% uptick in high street footfall over the next week or two as people continue to go back out and start shopping again. But there will be this segment that really has changed their behaviours during the lockdown, will continue to shop online, will continue to work from home, so it will affect how cities recover. And the nervousness around going back in and not wearing masks in shops will affect this group as well. So I think it's a really uncertain time for retailers as they try and get back to something close to normal.
Matt, we know a lot of those retailers have had the leap. They've had to make those digital changes so they could still have some revenue while stores were shut initially and then with very limited capacity as well. What we've seen, a number of people that have been contacted by this NHS app forced to stay at home and isolate, those returning from overseas also isolating as well, on top of the caution we're already talking about. So what do retailers do at this stage? Do they keep on investing in digital because they think that is the trend, or do you think there's a wait-and-see approach that perhaps we're going to go back to pre-pandemic trends on the high street? Now, what's the strategy right now for a lot of retailers?
Well, I think it's a bit of both, Karen. So you've got the short-term issue, as you referred to, of actually being able to supply and meet the demand that consumers have, which is linked to people being pinged by the Test and Trace app in the UK, and therefore self-isolating, having a big impact on whether shops can operate normally, whether deliveries can make it into stores, whether food can be processed, etc., etc. So we're expecting to see shortages on the shelf. We're expecting to see shops and restaurants and bars actually having to limit hours of opening or be closed altogether because as the self-isolation trend continues over the next few weeks. But to your point, the part of the answer to that is continuing to innovate in digital channels. We've already seen that one of the few positives to come out of the pandemic has been a massive level of innovation in the retail industry with advances in online, 10 years worth of progress within 15 months, and adoption of new and interesting channels, so concierge online, etc., which have helped customers who can't go shopping, and some of these will remain the case, the more nervous customers, be able to access the products and the services that they would want without necessarily having to go into a shop. So I think there's a short-term issue around managing supply, and there's an enormous amount of disruption across the supply chain, and the surges in demand that we've seen, particularly for home-related goods, mean that there are genuine shortages in that sector and disruption in food. And then continued innovation around the digital channel and how to engage those nervous customers in particular. So those that can move rapidly, can understand what their customers want, how they want to engage with their brands, with their products, and adapt their business models and how they take product to market will be those that win moving forward.